of Leopallooza. We start again now. Hi everyone, it's Lee Wheeler from Cornwall Live here, and I'm joined this morning by Lee Ellis. There's two Lees for you. The founder of Leopallooza, which is, as many people know, am I allowed to say it? Cornwall's best festival. No, I can't. I can't be biased. I can't say it. Cornwall's got loads of brilliant festivals, but right up there, it's Leopallooza. And you're going to reveal the lineup exclusively for us this morning, Lee. Before we do that, let me know a bit about Leopallooza, when you started and the sort of ethos behind it.
We weren't intending to be here sort of 17 years later. It was a bit of a fun party, a gathering. I played on a part of the local band's music scene. I was in a band at the time, and it was just an excuse to get everyone together. So many contacts. We had a bit of a party in my dad's field, which has grown into the base for where Leopallooza is now. That was back in 2006. It was just a bit of something that was put together in 2 weeks, and off a bit of a whim. We'd played another event that summer, and the weather was lovely, and somebody suggested to me, "You got the space. You should have a festival here. You put your own party on." So that's kind of what we did. Like so many of these other events that have continued from that, we're not kind of unique in that factor.
But there is a sort of unique feel to Leopallooza, though, isn't there? Like you sort of market it. It's like a house party in a field, really. It feels very intimate.
I think the way it's grown in that way, it's kind of like the very first one was just very close friends, and that kind of extended to their friends, and then we went from sort of 200 people to 500 people up to 1,000, and everyone sort of telling their friends about it, and it's maintained that kind of overall feeling that you genuinely feel like you're coming to a very intimate, friendly. It kind of resonates throughout the site, the venue, from the security now to the bar staff to everything within the field. There's it's put together with such a huge amount of love without sounding too cheesy, but it's just
it feels like it. It definitely feels like it. Yeah, it's a special event, and we haven't said where it is. Obviously, it's at the Wyldes, which is your family farm, actually.
We're near Bude in North Cornwall.
yeah. And so tell us some of the people who've played before, some of the headliners.
Headliner wise, we've had everyone from the Vaccines to Bastille. We've had Idols headline stage 2. Crystal Fighters, Metronomy last year, Sleaford Mods last year. We're sort of 17 years down the line now that I find that 1 year blends into another one. It's really hard to sort of go, what year was that? What we've always been fairly kind of lucky with, to a degree, we've sort of picked out quite a few acts at the sort of DIY grassroots level, and we've watched how they've sort of developed and taken off and come back as a much bigger act. Idols being one of those examples, when they started about sort of 50, 60 people, and then to where they are now. Bastille were another act that sort of played on stage 2 to sort of, that was before. We have actually rebuilt the stages and stuff since then. The stages were very, very small back in those days as well. And then, we kind of had this structure for the main stage that was kind of constructed out of telegraph poles and kind of very makeshift kind of event, and it did us for the first few years. And then when we were getting bands back, they were kind of like #1 in the album charts and stuff. We were like, I don't think our stage is going to quite do it now. So we kind of extended it until we couldn't really do much else with it. So we ended up then back in 2016, we sort of bit the bullet and put our, Mark II stage in, which stands there now. So that's a kind of, which is a much more impressive structure, which we're lucky that it kind of stays there year round. And, a lot of the structures stay there year round. So we're in a very fortunate position where we can kind of just add that little bit more. I don't know, it's not like a pop-up greenfield site where we kind of take over, put everything in place, take it away again. We're very fortunate that we've got the landscape of 60 acres of sort of young woodland and that surrounding, and it just sits beautifully where it does, really.
Yeah, it's a beautiful site, isn't it? So should we do the reveal then? Let's do the
reveal. Go for it. Yeah.
So Friday night's headliner is
Friday night. It's I think this is going to be please a lot of my generation.
Yeah, definitely my generation.
Bearing in mind that some of these tracks came out the year I left school and stuff. So, but they're electric 90s electronic pioneers. Orbital we'll be bringing a full live show
That's a
for
beauty.
Friday night. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's fantastic.
live
They're so
screens,
good live, aren't they?
Yeah,
So good. It's such a good sort of audio visual show the Hartnell brothers put on, and
yeah,
yeah, and they've got back, haven't they? They seem to be like having a second wind now. The new album came out last week. It's called Delusion, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a time to get them. That would be brilliant.
The collaboration, the kind of link, Sleaford Mods collaborated on the one track on that. Nice link to last year's headliner as well. So yeah, I'm really buzzing for that.
Yeah, that would be a brilliant one. Yeah, good Friday night. God, that's going to kill people off before Saturday even begins, isn't it?
Well, the funny thing is, people. I mean, we always thought that we aim for Saturday to be the bigger night, but over the years, people seem to arrive and go pretty hard on Friday night. So and then almost Saturday, sometimes they've overcooked it a little bit. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to be a good one.
So Saturday night headliner is
this is a great one for me personally as well, because they were so sort of influential in the time when we started Leopalooza, the mid noughties, is indie legends block party. One of those acts, if somebody had said to me in 2006, block party will be playing here one day, I'd have probably said, rather than a laugh, hadn't you?
So it's got to be a dream for you, isn't it?
Yeah, a big treat for me, definitely. Yeah,
but God, that'd be amazing, isn't it? Seeing them play tracks from Silent Alarm, which is a classic of that time, isn't it? Early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing their first Jules Holland performance, and that was the track I saw, and I was, pretty blown away by them at the time. They just had that kind of element. They weren't the generic sort of indie band of the time. They were sort of, the energy and what they were doing was a lot more sort of relevant, I think, at the time.
Yeah, and they're brilliant live as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
That'll be a brilliant one. So Sunday's headliner. Now this sort of sticks to the ethos of Leopalooza, doing sort of brave things and new things.
Yeah.
Who is it?
We've got Norwegian pop sensation. I'm going to say sensation. It's a bit of a maverick, really. Aurora. She's a really intriguing character. She's, her show is absolutely stunning. Matt, who part of the team, Coops, he went and saw her in Bristol a few years back, and he came back and he was like saying how incredible the show was. So we've kind of had her earmarked for a little while, really, and every so often, things fall into place. She's one that at the moment she's a bit of a massive TikTok sensation at the moment, which my 8-year-old is much more well versed than I am. So she's over the moon.
Funny you should say that, because I broke the embargo and told my kids, Lee, about the line a couple of days ago, and they both, my two younger ones, started singing an Aurora song.
Yeah, they didn't get you doing the dance then. So I'm trying. Everyone in the office is gearing up, for the dance as well.
Yeah,
there is a tutorial for it on YouTube. I believe.
Everybody will have to learn it before the Sunday. Yeah, and tell us the dates. Of course, it's July
21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And so some of the other things you got playing, Mystery Jets.
Yeah, Mystery Jets were due to play last year, and unfortunately they had to pull out last minute due to circumstances beyond their control. So it was nice to be able to get them back. It was noted last year that they were missing. We got Billy No Mates playing this year. She's another act that we've had our eye on for a little while, so that's worked out this year. More for a sort of a big festival kind of pleaser. We got Dutty Moonshine, big band, in on Friday night. They were kind of like one of the Boomtown headliners, I think, last year. So they're bound to be a big, festival winner that's Friday night. That'll be. I've kind of like, last year I think I bumped into you in Mono, didn't I, briefly? So I've kind of like, I've taken a bit more of an input in that as well for this year again. So I've got some great sort of new, sort of more on the DIY sort of level acts coming through there. There's a great band called Youth Sector that'll be in there. A band from Scotland called Yabba that the Enola Gay guys last year sort of pointed out to me. They've been talking with them and said, you've got to get them. They're pretty much the best live band you'll ever see. So there's a few things like that going on.
I love that mono stage. It's just brilliant, isn't it, for up and coming bands? It's fantastic. I saw a band there last year called Dead Letter who blew me away.
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. Yeah,
fantastic. And I think that sort of that area now is very much channeling the early spirit and ethos of Leo, basically. That's kind of where it all started, with that kind of level. So that's a great passion of mine, really.
And you've got for the kids, you've got Aardman coming down.
Ardman will be coming, yes, as in Wallace and Gromit, and more for the older ones. Yeah, so that's something. They're going to bring a workshop to sort of do some creations and stuff. It'll be pretty wonderful. We'll have the Rogue theatre guys will be joining us again, doing their other world stuff out in the woods. That's always pretty magical experience for the kids and families alike. So, you know, the great thing about, you know, Leah, to me, you'll see, you know, like 3 generations of a family coming in for the weekend, and, you know, there's something for everybody, really. So yeah,
there is. And for the older, well, not that old, but for the dance crew, there's the tree line area, and I believe that Hong Kong Ping Pong are doing a bit of a takeover this year.
They're doing a takeover this year. It's going to be on the Sunday, their takeover, and they got King of the Beats, I think, on there at the moment. Yeah, so that's, you know, it's always massively popular, that area, without a doubt. It's, you know, it just seems to go down a storm. The electronic side of it at the festival is always a winner. So yeah, great stuff. And
possibly the world's smallest club as well, Dinkies. That's always
Dinkies will be making a welcome return. Yeah, I've never actually made it into Dinkies yet.
Haven't you?
No, I've heard some wonderful stories about that place.
Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing. There was a little lad last year DJing in there, wasn't there?
DJing. Yeah, I saw it all afterwards. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Well, great. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. It's looking good. I think those are the 3 sort of best headliners you've had for one. Yeah, it's amazing.
I kind of, you know, we always sort of we always have a bit of a plan of what we want to go for. Things don't work out always. You know, even this year, you know, we had a lot of stop starts, full starts, waiting in a couple of months, hoping something was going to come in, and then it kind of didn't happen, and then it was on the table again. That's how it can go, and then you can find yourself sort of into February still kind of like trying to negotiate headline acts and stuff, which gets a little bit, you know, squeaky bum time in that, because everyone
must be.
Yeah, and you know, and also
there's so many more now, Lee, aren't there? There's so many more festivals all trying to get the same people and everything.
Everyone's a critic as well, so you kind of second guess: are we doing the right thing? Is it? We feel really good about this one. It's, you know, it sits really well with the overall theme musically. It's kind of, it just seems to work. You know, I think it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, it will be. So people wanting to buy tickets are available now, are they?
Yeah, www.leopalooza.com. That's where you can get your tickets. All the info's there. You know, we've got some really nice, we've kind of, in the lockdown year, we sort of created a bit more of a bespoke camping area. We've got some beautiful bell tents on bases and a lovely sort of toilet shower facility down there as well. So, you know, we've got some, you know, really nice options of camping, or else if you just want the basic ticket and camping, we're trying to keep it so it's still very accessible to everybody, really. So whichever sort of level you want to come in at.
Brilliant. And while we're here, we could mention in the Wyldes as well, which is your sort of standalone.
Yeah, live in the Wyldes. We started a few years back. So we've got a big night in big weekend in June at the moment. On the 16th, we've got Ministry of Sound Classical, and then we've got like Paul Oakenfold, Judge Jules, Danny Ramplin coming in as a support billing for that one. So it's going to be another big dance-based weekend, and then Rudimental playing on Saturday night that weekend as well. So
yeah, that's great.
And hope more dates to come throughout the summer as well. So yeah, we're just sort of working pretty hard at all that at the moment. So.
Right, so just a reminder for people who might have tuned in late that Lee's just announced the headliners for this year's Leopallooza Festival at Week St Mary near Bude. So the Friday night, Orbital, Saturday night, Block Party, and Sunday night, Aurora. Brilliant, great lineup.
No, thanks, Lee.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, you will. You definitely see me there. I'll be there with me glow sticks on a podium for Orbital, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Brilliant. Nice one. Thanks, Lee.